Good morning, everyone who isn't here. Been a few. Hi, I'm your Heavenly Father. This is Spilling Covfefe. There's no agenda here. This is just me waking up early. Too early in the morning. It's 6 a.m. here on the West Coast. I've been off in Hawaii for the last week or so, and then I moved. But I'm still in the TPD studios. I don't even know where I am. The Outhouse studio. No? Oh, Cooperall. I'm in the Cooperall studios. The judges aren't here yet. Oh, apparently they are. Just one of them? Okay. It's early in the morning. We have yesterday we moved out. Well, we didn't really move out. We're still here, but we were also in the new studios, currently known as the Betty Davis Studios. It's just being put together, so we don't know what the name of the studios is going to end up being. Lots going on. And I don't know. Yeah, it looks like we're broadcasting. Just no one's interested. So no one's watching. We currently have 0 viewers. So this is exciting. We can either watch the news of the day and see what's going on. Is it just too early? Or I guess I'm invisible. Maybe YouTube's blocked me. I have no idea. I don't know what's going on. So I'm just having my coffee. I'm gonna have a little salad. And I'm going to feel very red and pinkish. That's good coffee. And by good coffee, I mean warm. A little creamer inside it. I'm not a coffee aficionado. I wouldn't call myself that. And I know there's a better Italian word for it. I forget what that is right now. So I'm just going to watch the news of the day, and I'm going to react. That's what I do sometimes with the Spilling Covfefe. And if there's questions, let me know. I don't think anyone's in here right now. And I'm starting to doubt that I'm actually broadcasting. Hold on, let me check out the broadcast window here. See if we're actually coming through. Yeah, there I am. Okay, so we are broadcasting. I have hooked up the internets to a direct cable directly from the computer to the CIA. So everything should be functioning. I am rough, Thomas. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Thomas. Okay, so somebody out there is watching. So we'll go, how are you, Thomas? What's going on in your world? I just moved yesterday, and no, I didn't sleep a lot last night because there's a lot to do still. And when I say I moved, I have a broken leg. So, well, foot. It's part of my leg, isn't it? Can I just say broken? Oh, no, it's a foot. Good afternoon. We had like 4 Russian moving guys. Move all the stuff, and I basically watched most of it. I did too much. My foot hurts today. It was hurting last night, but so be it. Things have to get done. Now, saying that, we have an overlap. So the new studios are there. They haven't been set up yet, but I'm still here for the foreseeable future. No, not the foreseeable future. For February. Basically, I have both spaces, access to both spaces during February, so I have to help them put the other one together, and then we'll go from there. Well, Thomas is here, so Thomas, let's get going. Let's pull up some facts and friends to begin with here, and by that I mean fucks and friends. So we'll pull that up and see what's happening in the world today, because I'm in a pretty good mood, but I feel like I should be outraged about something.
A crime surge is not being taken.
Always outraged about stuff on fake news. So we'll check out Foe and Friends. Got a little bit of delay going on as well. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll check out Fox and Friends. We'll see what we should be outraged by, and then we'll go and see if anyone interesting was on Hannity or something last night. If we get there, or if you guys just want to talk, we'll just talk. Let me just check into Twitter and see if my message went through. And are we even here? No, we're here. Okay. Yeah, looks like we're going through. Are we on? Let's see if we're broadcasting on Twitter. We're broadcasting on Twitter. Nobody's watching. Is the internet down this morning? Did something happen overnight that I don't know about? That's interesting. Or am I just so completely unpopular? I've been away for a week, and I guess when you're away for a week, that's it. You're done. Welcome to 2022, folks. Get yourself some coffee. Let's settle in. Let's watch ourselves some stuff. You know what I should do is so you guys don't have to watch me eat salad. I should remind me later. There we go. Here we go. And there we go. I think you guys will still see me eat salad. No, you know what I should do? I got a better idea, guys. Let's do this. Let's do two. Since I'm going to be eating, let's do the guys that just eat constantly. And there it is. There's my favorite. Okay, let's do Happy Shark for this, so you guys don't have to watch me eat my salad. Okay, Thomas, hold on. Let's find out about the crime surge. See what Fox and Friends has to say about the crime surge that started under which president? Trump, you say? So the big news of the day should be the big news of last night, which was, again, paperwork has been discovered with President Trump involved, saying, hey, go get all the election machines. This is on or about the November, December of last year. After Trump had already lost the election, there was the idea that they could seize all of the election machines to look at them for the cards from the guy who invented the kitty scan. And he won a Pulitzer Prize, except he didn't. His name's just Pulitzer. He changed it to Pulitzer. More duplicate paperwork of this. Not duplicate, but another version of, hey, how do we do this? It was never done. But they put together plans to seize election machines, a la dictator and banana republics. That was on the agenda. And part of the material was actually just pieces of paper that have been taped back together, because despite the law saying that everything that happened in the White House had to be preserved because we are the boss. The public owns the White House. The public owns the president. Despite that, President Trump on a regular basis, and this has been reported for years, I think Politico reported it back in 2017-18, that he often takes pieces of paper and just rips them up and drops them on the floor. And then the help has to come along and tape them back together. So the National Archives are full of pieces of paper that Trump has ripped up and they now taped back together. Just a cartoon presidency. Somebody else who does that same thing? Don Henley. Don Henley sits in your car. I know this because I've driven him. He'll sit in your car, take a piece of paper out of the magazine that he's read, rip it out, and just drop it on the floor. Because he's done with that piece of paper. That's one way to read a book or a magazine, and that's the way he does it. Let's put on some glasses so I can see what's going on. Ah, see? You can't even see my glasses when I have Shark. Okay, welcome everybody. And by everybody, I mean... Oh, there's two people watching, so welcome, guys. Here we go. Let's jump into Fox and Friends and see what we should be outraged by this morning. Because like I said, I'm in a pretty good, if not tired, mood.
Seriously, the Imperial type.
Okay, I'm going to let it happen so that you guys can hear as well. How about that? See what happens there.
About soft on crime consequences. I mean, what does that even mean?
Okay, so they're going to... She's laughing about crime is the story. Completely false narrative. They're not playing the rest of what she says. And I can play that for you. I'll pull that up. We'll take a look at what they play and then the full context. They've called me a devious liberal on Newsmax before, but we will take a look at this because this is like the one thing I did yesterday in terms of Twitter. Let me go back here and I'll show you the full context of that. Where'd it go? Where's my replies? I'm pulling it up on Twitter here. But let's go with Fox and Friends here. We got to jump ahead after whatever music they're playing.
Raking up the iguanas. You know, they were just dropping out of the trees.
Did you really? I think it's so funny.
That's a big story.
I don't want PETA to get on my case, but I do think it's very funny that iguanas freeze and they fall out of the trees.
Well, you know, they're up there. It's 40 degrees. They just go into suspended animation. They go down on the ground.
Have you ever seen that happen?
They don't plan ahead. That's one thing about iguanas. The other thing is, I remember going to the pet store as a kid, and we wanted to get an iguana as a family, and the pet store owner,
schnauzers.
Yeah, the pet store owner said, if you can raise a salamander, then you can raise an iguana. And when the salamander died, the iguana.
So you bought a salamander?
Yeah, we proved as a family we could not raise a salamander. So then they said, you cannot have an iguana. So that was it.
So they made you practice parents.
Right, and we failed as a family. Right. So
A salamander, though, how do you kill that?
I don't know. I think they don't think
You
they like
forget to
bologna.
feed them?
Yeah.
Bologna.
I remember when I was little, I would be outside in my parents' backyard and turning over the stones and seeing if there were salad.
Yeah. Good morning, Ann. Hi, Trial Balloon. I posted a video, the full context of Jen Psaki on Twitter yesterday, and now I'm not finding it. But I'll pull up YouTube and see if it remembers where I was on YouTube, because it's from Pod Save America. She did an interview with Pod Save America this last week. And she said something. She was looking up at the monitor, and she could see Fox News, and she was comparing the headlines, just as I said, for example, that yesterday, the big thing that happened was it's been released that President Trump, according to CNN, President Trump had multiple different attempts to seize the election machines in a democratic election in the United States. Multiple different ways, multiple different theories of how they could do this, which is kind of big news, kind of dictatorish. Trump is always putting the dick in dictator. And but the lead story is going to be about Jen Psaki looking up at the monitor. I have that somewhere. Let me see if I can actually find it, because let me go to the YouTube and my history, and we might be able to find it in there, because I did watch yesterday. I did. And is Jen Psaki here? Let me pull it up. Give me a second here. And yeah, I should have it right here. I do. Give me a second here, folks. I'm going to rewind it here so you can see the full context of it. And hopefully, Pod Save America, if you're watching, please don't give me a copyright strike for this. I'm just trying to show the people what happened. They're going to show us something else on Fox and try and take it out of context as if Jen Psaki's just laughing at crime. But we'll find out here in a second.
Salamanders there.
Right.
Every now and then you'd get lucky and find one, and it was a very exciting thing.
Right. You couldn't go to the pet store? You had to go find your own?
Yeah, that's right. No, when I was little, I had a canary named Sunny and a rabbit named Coco. Both are no longer with us.
He's mocking her for trying to find salamanders in the wild. Couldn't go to a pet store? Well, no, there's just salamanders everywhere where I grew up. You just look under a rock and there's a salamander. That's how they work. Ha ha. You had to be in nature finding things?
Anymore.
Wow.
But they live normal lives. You didn't feed them bologna.
No, we did not.
All right, good. All right, well, anyway, so that sets the stage for this Tuesday. Let's talk a little bit about some things that are going on in the news. Jen Psaki is taking a lot of heat because of what she said.
The lead story. Russia's on the border with Ukraine. President Trump tried to seize the machines involved in our democracy, the ones that count your vote. But the lead story is a complete fabrication. What Jen Psaki said on a podcast. Let's watch.
On the podcast, Pod Save America, which is hosted by a number of former Obama administration officials who she used to work with. Here's a soundbite that got her in trouble.
Do you remember the 4 boxes that we had on all the TVs, right? Which is on my TV right now. So right now, just to give you a sense, so CNN, Pentagon, as many as 8,500 U.S. troops on heightened alert. Okay, true.
That's Ukraine, Russia. That's a big story for the world.
Same on MSNBC.
Okay, same thing.
CNBC is doing their own thing about the market.
CNBC is a business network. They cover the markets.
And then on Fox is Janine Pirro talking about soft on crime consequences. I mean, what does that even mean, right? So there's an alternate universe on some coverage. What's scary about it is a lot of people watch that.
Yes, they do.
Okay, they just cut it off there. Before she gets a chance to say they believe it, a lot of people who watch that believe it, and nothing could be farther than the truth. We are doing things about crime in New York. We are doing things. Remember, they've sent more than $300 million, gazillion dollars to help local law enforcement. But and of course, as we know, President Biden has always been against defunding the police and has said so multiple times since the beginning of the campaign, since really defunding the police became an option. President Biden abhors violence of any kind. Let's watch Jen here. Let's listen to the rest of that quote. I should be able to play it. Let's see where we are.
boxes that we had on all the TVs, right? Which is on my TV right now.
Yeah, here it
so
is.
Right now, just to give you a sense, so CNN, Pentagon, as many as 8,500 U.S. troops on heightened the market. I mean, what is that even? Janine Pirro talking about soft on crime consequences. I mean, what does that even mean, right? So there's an alternate universe on some coverage. What's scary about it is a lot of people watch that and they think that the president isn't doing anything to address people's safety in New York, and that couldn't be farther than the truth for other places.
Yeah. So the president is, in fact, addressing people's safety in New York and other places. So, yeah, you look at Judge Janine's headline, her chyron, which is just the writing at the bottom of the screen. This stuff right here. This stuff down at the bottom of the screen. That's what she was looking at. The volume's off on those monitors, the TVs that show the 4 different news channels. The volume's off, so all she sees is this headline at the bottom. I don't know what's a headline, a foot line? Whatever you would call the chyron at the bottom. Some people call it lower thirds. And she's reacting to that, which is soft on crime consequence. No, Biden's not being soft on crime. There are particular DAs in different areas that are soft on crime and saying like, oh, we don't need bail anymore. Everybody's out. We're not going to press charges on these people because we just don't want to. Anything below $1,000 was not going to get prosecuted in San Francisco. Stuff like that. There's various different things happening in different areas. Here, even in Los Angeles, there's problems with the particular DA in power right now. People trying to recall him. There's all kinds of stuff like that. But in terms of Biden, in terms of the National Democratic Party, no. It's ridiculous. What was that? Again, what is that headline? It's a ridiculous headline. She's scoffing at the headline. She's not saying that there's not crime. Ha 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 ha. She's saying that could not be farther from the truth. She's making a point.
Because we have news you don't get on other channels.
Yeah,
Again, this is the lead story. A completely fabricated and edited, and when I say edited, it's chopped out of context, version of the truth.
That's absolutely right. And the fact that she said that it's scary that a lot of people watch that, and not that it's scary.
No, it's scary that they watch and believe that because nothing could be further from the truth. That's what she just said.
Scary that there is record crime across the country is a big problem.
Yeah, fake stories you don't get on other channels. It's true, Tribal.
Which is why Jackie...
And by the way, it's all over OAN, it's all over Newsmax, it's all over America's First Voice, it's all over America's Second, Third, Fourth, could be as high as possibly Fifth or Sixth Voice, we don't know. It's like nothing you've ever watched before.
She was at the White House press briefing yesterday. She asked Jen Psaki about her comments, if she'd like to clarify them, and take a listen to her response.
Were you speaking in your personal opinion, or is that at all a reflection of the priorities of this administration? Because the criticism is that it would reflect that crime is not a priority of this administration.
This is what I was talking about in the interview for the full context. In the American Rescue Plan, there was additional funding to support local cops programs, something that...
Yeah, and every single Republican voted against. I bet she's going to say that.
Every single Republican voted against.
Okay, that's exactly what she said. Yeah. So it's easy to predict what's going to be said when you know the facts and someone is going to speak factually. And that's generally what Jen Psaki does.
If those facts are uncomfortable, I'm sorry for people who feel they need to be critical, but the president has been a longtime advocate of addressing crime. He's never been for defunding the police. And the other fact that is never talked about in these Fox packages, maybe in this one, is the fact that gun crime is a major driver of crime across the country.
Yeah, people with the guns and actually shoot the guns. The guns that sit on the table aren't usually the problem. 81% of the country.
What guns are sitting out on tables? People, don't leave your guns on tables, please, especially if there's children in the house. Lock your guns up in a gun safe. Kind of why they call it a safe.
say crime is something they're very concerned about, and higher rates is something that consumes them. If you look at San Francisco and almost every major city, the crime rates are up in almost every single category. And if you look at the rescue plan, the $1.9 trillion has a small portion for cities to do what they want with it. And even if it said put it to your cops, you don't make someone digest a $1.9 trillion package because of 350,000. And guess who gets that?
It's not 350,000. It's 300 million.
The police and these.
No, there's a specific designation for 4 different cities within that. But overall, for the country, it's $300 million.
The Fraternal Order of Police Presidents, Patrick Yost, spoke up yesterday, and here's what he said. I think it's wrong, very wrong, for Psaki to suggest that violent crime in our country is of no concern or is just to laugh it off.
Yeah, so if you're watching Patrick Yost, that's not what she said. I just showed you what he... Let's watch it again, just in case you're just joining us. Patrick Yost, leader of the Fraternal National Police Union. Okay, so the National Police, Fraternal Order Police. So Patrick, if you're watching, here it is in full context. She's not saying that crime is laughable. She's saying a couple of things. A, every single Republican's voted against giving you guys funding. Every single Republican voted against it. It only went through because the Democrats are in power, because the people of this nation voted them in after Trump had full control of the nation. Trump lost control of both the House and the Senate. And again, the Senate actually came over to Democratic control after a special election. The people of Georgia had a chance to look at the general election and decide, oh, you know what, we don't want that. We don't want the Democrats in control. But then decided again on January 5th of 2021, we don't want Trump having any power whatsoever, so we're going to take away the GOP, because he was already voted out by that point. We're going to give the Democrats the Senate as well and let Biden do some stuff. And so they passed. They passed the COVID rescue plan, and you guys got some more funding. Millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. This is what she said.
Yeah, there's
people, and then on Fox is Janine Pirro talking about soft on crime consequences. I mean, what does that even mean?
Yeah, what does it mean?
Right. So there's an alternate universe.
It is. It's an alternate universe because Biden is not soft on crime.
On some coverage, what's scary about it is a lot of people watch that and they think that the president isn't doing anything to address people's safety in New York, and that couldn't be farther than the truth. Right?
There you go. There's the full context of it. Now, whether you believe that anything's being done or not, I mean, you're welcome to send back the money. But what do we need? We need more officers. We need more training. We need officers' well-being. All of these things are in the package. We need better health care for you guys. We need better equipment for you guys. We need health care counseling for you guys. All of these things, with cops being asked to do too much on a regular basis. All of these things are addressed in the plan. Money was allocated. If you got a beef with not getting that money, you need to talk to your local officials because they're the ones that hand it out. Biden doesn't write you a check and mail it to you directly. But are the Democrats are the Democrats out going, hey, you know what, we need more crime. We don't have enough criming in America. No. But again, this is the lead story. Completely fabricated, out of context, scoffing. And why? Because Jen Psaki is laughing at their network. Because it is laughable. And the same thing I do every morning. So I get it.
She may feel safe in the White House, one of the most protected buildings in the United States, but not everyone feels safe in their workplace. The world we find ourselves in is dangerous and increasingly more so. Tens of thousands of people have been victims of crime this month alone, and some of them never made it back home. Pretending violent crimes are part of some other reality will not help victims.
She's not saying that. She specifically says, no. We're taking it seriously. Nothing could be farther from the truth.
Ms. Psaki owes them an apology. And if you think about the turnout for Friday's funeral, where I've never seen anything like it, most people haven't, drones couldn't even cover it, you would think the President of the United States say, maybe it's time to put off that trip to Pittsburgh for infrastructure, which I never even had a formal signing for because I was embarrassed by, and I held the bipartisan bill.
Biden went to Pittsburgh to talk about infrastructure. Just a few hours before he got there, a bridge in Pittsburgh collapsed, which is exactly what the infrastructure package is all about. The same infrastructure package, by the way, that Trump never passed in 4 years, did nothing about infrastructure. Despite all of his claims that there was infrastructure week happening after infrastructure week happening, they never even had a committee meeting. Nothing went up for a vote. There was no plan. It was all lies. Biden gets some infrastructure money back. Hey, let's fix these bridges. Let's fix these hundreds of thousands of bridges and roads and things in our country and ports that need fixing. One of them collapses, and now he's getting blamed that he didn't go to a funeral. It's just ridiculous. Morning, Josh. Hey, Andy.
For 3 months. Maybe I should have flown possibly to St. Patrick's Cathedral or met with some police leaders or actually come down on the DAs that are allowing crime to run rampant. In fact, they ran on that in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, Minneapolis.
Nobody ran on letting crime run rampant. Nobody has ever run on that.
As well as New York.
Well, what's curious about Jen Psaki's soundbite right there is there was a whopper in there, something that she's been called out on by the...
Also, that she explains that that's not what she's saying. That's what's interesting about the soundbite, is that you don't play the soundbite.
Washington Post fact checker. She got 3 Pinocchios for exactly what she just said. She, if you listen to her, she said, there was additional funding for the local cops in the American Rescue Plan. $350 billion, she said, that was there for the local police. The Washington Post fact checker gave her 3 Pinocchios because, even though she said that that money was earmarked for a variety of budget plugging purposes, there's no guarantee the police would get a slice of that pie. But that's what the administration has been doing. They've been going, look, every Republican voted against the part that would have funded the cops. So we're for refunding the cops. Remember when she went through all of that? Well, the Washington Post called her on it, and she repeated it yesterday.
Yeah, and I think this was a really bad moment for her. Whether you like what she says or not, she usually does a good job of at least not causing controversy for the Biden administration. And that's exactly what she did yesterday. And at a time when crime is at an all-time high, I don't think that criticizing a network's coverage of the issue is really a hill you want to die on. But Democrats have such an issue with talking about this.
Okay, the money included $350 billion in state and local aid. Do you know who pays the police officers? The state and local aid. That's who does. So for whatever reason, and usually the Washington Post is pretty good about things like this. They did give it 3 Pinocchios. I'm looking at it right now. But because the federal government didn't specifically allocate, okay, this amount of the budget goes to your local police. But especially after COVID, localities and states were struggling, although some states did pretty well, like California. We're going to give you this money, said the federal government. Use it as you see fit. One of those uses are the police. That's where the police get paid. That's where the police get all their funding for all the equipment, etc. I don't know why this is 3 Pinocchios, because 4 is the maximum. So they're saying that the claim, and this is not just Psaki as well, but here we go. This is Cedric Richmond is where this fact check came from. In an interview on Fox News Sunday, let's see, he said, let's talk about who defunded the police. Okay, so this is specifically, are the Republicans defunding the police? Well, by not voting for the package that funds the police, in a way, yes. But they're not directly defunding. They're not saying, police, you need to have less money. First off, defunding, not even a word. Just invented last week, a couple of years ago by a bunch of idiots who are mad at the way the cops treat some citizens. Now, there's nothing idiotic about that. Do not treat the citizens badly, of course. It's idiotic to say we need to defund the police. We need to take away the police's budget. We need the police. Like 4% of the population is in favor of defunding the police. President Biden, not in favor of defunding the police, and has said that many, many times. I might even have that. Hold on, let me see if I can pull that up quickly. Just to make a point. Let me move this out of the way so you guys don't have to look at it. Wait, let me move this out of the way so you guys don't have to look at it. Now, where is it? Did it not go anywhere? Okay, let me open it up again and block your view. Let me do this, and let me find Biden's here. There's Biden, and let's see. Do I have it? And it's not showing up for me. So I have it somewhere. I don't have it there. Let's keep going.
Because this is a crisis of their own making, and that's why when you see liberal media outlets cover this, they blame the gun or they blame the car for driving.
Well, guns are a problem. No one's blaming a car. No one is blaming the SUV for running down some people in a parade. I have not seen a single liberal outlet saying, you know what? We need to get rid of cars.
Driving into the group of people, because they can't blame the criminal. And it's because it's all political. Democrats get votes by saying things like, we need bail reform and stop and frisk is racist, because it makes them seem like the party who cares.
Well, the Supreme Court said that stop and frisk was incredibly racist because it was targeting minorities and is a violation of all of your amendments. Not every single one, but 4th, 6th, 1st. Not really the 1st, but I can say that because of the First Amendment.
When in actuality, those policies are killing the people who are voting for them.
Right. Jen Psaki called out Judge Jeanine. Judge Jeanine
also killing Republicans, if you're going to go by that, but okay.
Also heard that on Pod Save America, or whatever it's called. And
it's called Pod Save America. It's a good title.
She said this on the 5 yesterday.
She wants to know why I'm talking about the consequences of soft on crime. Well, I'm talking about the consequences of the Democrat, liberal, progressive, leftist,
Democratic,
soft on crime, criminal loving, victim hating group that has made a decision that no bail.
I've never heard anybody hate the victims.
No jail, and that.
I mean, now there were victims on January 6th, both Republicans and Democrats at the Capitol, and I've heard a lot of hatred from the right. President Trump now decided he wanted to just pardon. He's going to pardon, if he gets back into power, pardon all of the criminals on January 6th who tried to overthrow the government.
Criminals they should be privileged, and that social justice and rogue prosecutors should not be a part of the criminal justice system. Jenna.
Well, rogue prosecutors should not be part of the criminal justice. I think that's part of what justice is. Justice, Jeanine. What is she saying?
You so locked up in your ivory tower that you have.
There are no ivory towers, by the way. I've looked.
No idea what Americans really care about and what they're concerned about. You people don't stand up for law.
Well, no. There were $350 billion given to the state and local governments because that's where every single American lives.
On order, we do.
Right, and to our earlier point, there are some channels that simply don't address a lot of things that are going on.
Because this is a fake story. You're making this up out of whole cloth. We have now spent, let's see, we started about a minute and a half. We're now on minute 9.5. So we've spent a good solid 8 minutes talking about something that didn't happen.
What channel has got drone coverage of what's going on our southern border? What channel actually talks about soft on crime and how crime has
Well, all the channels. All the channels talk about that.
Very little consequences these days. Who else is talking about inflation? Who else is talking
Everybody.
about supply chain stuff?
Everybody.
She said, look, CNN and MSNBC are both doing the 8,500.
Who else is talking about how Biden canceled Christmas and none of us had Christmas? Who else is talking about how Biden killed all the turkeys before we could eat them and we didn't have any Thanksgiving? Who else is talking about that?
Troops massing on the border. We did that. Look,
what?
crime has very little consequences these days. Who else is talking about inflation? Who else is talking about supply chain stuff? You know, she said, look, CNN and MSNBC are both doing the 8,500 troops massing on the border. We did that.
Okay, well, that's not what's happening. No, there's apparently he didn't do it because 8,500 troops are not amassing on the border. That's not what's happening, Steve. But okay, you did it. Good job. Moving on.
Oh, look, CNN.
Greatest geopolitical event of this century, but you did it. You got it wrong, but you did it.
NBC is doing the mark.
Steve is usually the almost sane one on the couch, but he's going off on this righteous indignation, probably because the producers this morning sat him down and said, look, you need to be crazier.
We did that, but we're the only ones that really follow the crime. And I think it's starting to get under the president's skin because it is...
We see a single crime that's outrageous. All tragedies, by the way. I am not making fun of the crime. Just for the record, and I know it's not popular, I'm against it. Not in favor of crime. Not a big fan at all. Breaking Bad, though, good series. Lots of crime in that one. I enjoyed it. But in general, in reality, I do not like crime. Crime upsets me.
Impacting his poll numbers, and right now it looks like it's going to be a bloodbath come November.
But it's unbelievable that they're not talking about this issue because, like you said, Brian, 81% of Americans are really concerned about it because people are aware of what's happening in their neighborhoods and they see that there is crime happening. It's so random. They don't feel safe.
No, we've always known there was crime. There's always been crime in the neighborhoods. I have a Ring video doorbell, and the app is constantly telling me about all the crime in the neighborhoods. We're aware of it. Before Biden, believe it or not.
If President Biden was smart, he would recognize that it's not just Republicans that care about this issue.
No.
It's independents, it's Democrats as well.
Of course, everybody cares about crime. That's why she specifically says nothing could be further from the truth, but you didn't play it.
Poll numbers are terrible among independents. So he really should, I think that he should make an Oval Office address about this. Say, listen, there is something going on wrong in this country right now. Last year, 16 cities across the country had record high homicide rates. If that's not a crisis, I don't know what is.
He could separate himself from the Democratic mayors and force the ones that don't want to crack down on crime to separate himself from him for their own party's fortunes. Bill Maher said it right. He goes, I don't agree with Ted Cruz on a lot, but he said, Ted Cruz thinks you should be able to use money to buy stuff as opposed to the smash and grab, which is taking place in these Democratic cities.
Right. Well, to your point, Carl.
Yeah, everyone thinks that. Everyone agrees with Ted Cruz that crime is not good, that you should not smash and grab. Everybody. Not just Bill Maher, everybody. Hey, you know what? If anyone is watching, go ahead and jump into the chat and let me know if you support crime, if you're happy about this whole smash and grab. Which, by the way, was a phenomenon for 2 weeks. Remember that? It was like suddenly LA, San Francisco, and then you know what happened? At least here in LA, if you watch the local news, the cops went out and they arrested a whole bunch of people, and suddenly there's not so many smash and grabs every day. Like for 2 weeks, it was a phenomenon. Yeah, you're going to hear about it every once in a while, but we solved the problem. We went and got the people and arrested them.
You know, the president would have a perfect opportunity on Thursday. He's coming here to meet with the mayor of New York City. They're going to talk about gun violence.
They're going to make it a gun control issue.
Just talk about crime. You know, there's more to crime than just guns.
Exactly.
Okay, but guns are a big part of the problem, right? You got guns, that's crime. They're going to address crime, but not enough crime.
So, you know, this is an opportunity. Let's see if the president steps up to the plate or doesn't.
11 minutes after the hour.
Well, no, they're going to talk about crime. Gun crime is crime.
Coming up, California Governor Gavin Newsom insisting he only removed...
So 11 minutes. They spent 11 minutes talking about a quote taken out of context that is completely not what Jen Psaki said. Why? Because we were laughing at them. Jen Psaki was laughing at Fox News, scoffing at their implication. Implication. Fox News implied that the Democrats don't care about crime.
Moved his mask temporarily during the packed NFC Championship game.
Yeah, so yesterday, the Pac-10 NFC Championship game, that's college and NFL combined. Pac-10 is college, but is that what he really said? I must have heard that wrong, because he could not have gotten that wrong. He could not have called the National Football Conference championship game, the NFC. He could not have called that the Pac-10.
Just guns.
Exactly.
So
I must, folks, when I'm wrong, I will admit it. I must have heard that wrong. There's no way that Brian Kilmeade made that mistake of mixing college and pro football together.
you know, this is an opportunity. Let's see if the president steps up to the plate or doesn't.
11 minutes after the hour, coming up, California Governor Gavin Newsom insisting he only removed his mask temporarily during the packed NFC Championship.
I was wrong. The packed NFC Championship. He didn't say Pac-10. And I heard it wrong. My apologies. There you go. It's as simple as that. I made a mistake. I heard something incorrectly. And there you go. It's that easy. That was a mistake. They didn't say that. Brian, I apologize. See how easy that is? Why? Because all I want to do is get it right. I listened to it again, and he said packed NFC Championship again. And of course, I couldn't broadcast because I think I was in Hawaii. No, I was actually moving yesterday, so everything was disconnected. I couldn't broadcast. I had to move. And I saw them play this clip at some point during the day. Somebody was talking about it. And I said, well, of course they were wearing masks, and they took it off to take the picture. Of course that's what happened. And as it turns out, that's what happened.
Game. We're going to show you the fan cam footage, which shows he's a liar.
Plus, Tom Brady is finally addressing those retired.
All right, well, let's take a look at the fan cam footage here. But by the way, I do not like Gavin Newsom. Not a fan. He should have resigned after the French Laundry. He is a hypocrite. I am not defending Gavin Newsom at all. I do like Magic Johnson. I have worked for Magic Johnson on several occasions. I have taken Magic Johnson to get fish and chips. Magic Johnson has given me wonderful advice about life. I don't know how he's doing with the COVIDs. Let's find out. Let's go ahead here and see if we can just jump ahead. Something about Whoopi Goldberg. Here we go. Here's Gavin Newsom. Okay, let's see what Gavin Newsom has to say.
Take where Magic was kind enough, generous enough to ask me for a photograph, and in my left hand's the mask, and I took a photo. Rest of the time I wore it, as we all should. Not when I had a glass of water or anything.
No, when he was eating or drinking, he didn't have the mask on. That's how it works. By the way, stupid. All of you people out there, excuse me, speaking of COVID, all of you folks out there who are going to restaurants during Omicron or whatever the next spike happens to be and removing your mask to eat and drink, take the food, pay the restaurant, tip well, and leave. You're going to get COVID. Hold on. Sorry, I'm sneezing up a storm here because of my COVID. What did I do? I went on an airplane. So, by the way, I don't have COVID. There's no evidence of me having COVID, except that right now I'm starting to sneeze suddenly. So, I'm probably allergic to you guys.
And I encourage everybody else to do so. And that's it. I was trying to be gracious and took the mask off for a brief second. But no, I encourage people to continue to wear them.
Okay,
Liar.
That's kind of a challenge. I only took it off for 3 seconds.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you know, so he took it off when he was sipping and when he was smiling with Magic Johnson. But as you can see from the fan cam, there are a number of times where he simply is not wearing
God. Sorry, guys. I had my mic off that entire time. So just ignore me.
A mask, because there's a universal.
I was just looking to see if we could find any pictures of him wearing the mask and the fact that he was, So basically, don't eat and drink around other people. Keep your mask on. We're still going through a wave. LA, by the way, going way down with Omicron, but it's still out there. I turned off my mic so I could sneeze. I didn't want you guys to have to hear me sneeze, and this is what happened. So my apologies. Here.
Indoor mask mandate through February 15th for LA. Also, all spectators required to wear a mask. But the critics have jumped on the hypocrisy. Why do I have to follow the rules?
I know.
When the top dogs
Sickening.
simply don't.
I love how during that press remark from Gavin Newsom, he said, I made a and then he swallowed mistake? Because you know that his handlers or somebody said, don't say that you made a mistake, because then all the headlines will say that Gavin Newsom admits that he made a mistake. So he kind of tried to talk his way out of it by saying that he wore his mask at every other time. But of course, he was being photographed.
Right, but he could have been eating or drinking at that point when that other photo was taken. That's the problem.
A lot. And we saw that he was also not wearing his mask at other points of the game as well. What he should have said.
Which he said.
Was, you know what? Omicron cases are going down. I'm going to review the rules that we have right now. And I'll get back to you, and maybe we can change them going forward.
Well, but the thing is, Carl, you don't wait to get caught to say I'm going to change the rules.
Maybe you
theoretically.
People do.
London breed. No, but that.
Oh, it's a big stadium, though. So how are you going to catch COVID in a big stadium? Well, my son happened to do that. So did his girlfriend. They went to one hockey game, and they took their masks off. Nobody was sitting behind them. They made sure they were as far away from people as they could be in their seats. But unfortunately, this virus circulates around. I'm using my hand right now to make a big gesticulation of a circle, and it keeps blocking the camera, which is why I keep disappearing. So just imagine my fin circling. But yeah, don't go to games with a lot of people and take your mask off.
That shows what a hypocrite he does. Imagine what he's doing behind the scenes. He does not mind
He's a hypocrite. Agree.
Cracking down on preschoolers, but he can go out and hang out with celebrities. Obviously, Magic Johnson is not worried about it. Obviously, no one of the box.
Well, Magic might have taken his mask off to take the picture. We don't know.
Doesn't worry about it, but
Well, hold on a second here. Let's go back to the game here with the mask and let's see. Let's open up K. And so there's a bunch of people without their masks in the luxury box. Terrible, by the way. Don't do that.
Here's a song.
I do not see... Oh, come on. I don't want to listen to an ad. Hold on. Let's play that. And 3, 2... Can I skip it? Skip the ad. There we go. Okay, the Reiner Report. ABC 10. Okay, go ahead. Here we go. Let's see what they say about this.
Magic Johnson posted these photos with San Francisco Mayor London Breed, LA Mayor Eric Garcetti.
Okay, so you've got the LA Mayor right there holding his mask, holding the mask in his hand. Just took it off for the picture. Okay, I don't see any masks in Magic Johnson's hands, but I don't see his hands.
And Governor Gavin Newsom.
Magic was kind enough, generous enough to ask me for a photograph, and in my left hand.
Okay, well, he's got a mask there, so... the interpreter doesn't need to wear a mask, because COVID will not affect you if you're deaf. They're outside, by the way. This is fine. Do we have... Here we go. There's Magic without the mask. Okay, good. This is additional footage. This is why we're here. Magic, if you're listening, hey, it's Kevin. Hold on. Let's do this. Let's... I can make myself... just in case you watch Magic... Let's see if I can make myself back to normal. Here, this is as normal as I can get right now. There you go. Hi, it's Kevin. Remember the guy from the limo company up in Seattle? I've driven you around a few times. Here, Magic. We're going to watch you, Magic. If you're not wearing your mask around other people, please wear your mask around other people. We need you around. We felt like we almost lost you back in the 90s. We don't want to lose you now. So take care of yourself, buddy.
Second.
But this video of Fox's game broadcast does show Governor Newsom approaching Magic Johnson himself without wearing the mask to begin with.
I was trying to be gracious, and I made
But it's not just the photo with
Oh, he almost said he made a mistake. Almost said. Hold on, let me go back. This is I hate this one. Let's go back to Shark. There we go.
magic. This photo from the LA Rams fan cam shows Newsom relaxing with his mask off in the 70,000 person capacity indoor.
Right, but everybody's eating there. So we don't know whether he's eating or not in this picture. He could have this guy right in front. See the little table? There's tables right in front of them. He could have a drink. This could be a drink right here. We don't know.
Arena. The entire state is under an indoor mask mandate. School kids too. Republicans seize on the maskless images.
At least the last time.
Which again is ridiculous. I ate some snacks on the plane, but what I did was, hold on, I'm coming back. Basically, you breathe out, you put the snacks in your mouth, you lift up your mask, you put the snacks in your mouth. No, you breathe in. Sorry, you start by breathing in through your mask, put the snacks in your mouth, put the mask back on, breathe out. Try and filter out as much as possible. That being said, I'm sneezing this morning, so I could have COVID. I don't know.
And with the French Laundry, he was incredibly remorseful.
The moving guys that we had yesterday, we had 4 moving guys help us move yesterday. I gave them all a test right at the beginning of the day. They all passed. They're all negative. So good. But you try not to take chances. And sometimes you do, just a little bit. But sitting there throughout the game without a mask would have been very bad. But we don't see throughout the game. We're seeing a portion where he might be eating and drinking.
About his big...
And again, I thought Governor Newsom should have resigned right after the French Laundry. Absolute hypocrite.
Mistake that he said at the time. This time, he was less than remorseful. In fact, he said he was just essentially...
But we live in a democracy, and 2/3 of Californians decided he should not be recalled. We've discussed this. Because the alternative is so much worse.
Trying to please one of his celebrity friends.
But Berkeley epidemiologist John Swartzberg
Let's hear what Berkeley epidemiologist said.
told me the governor's actions have consequences.
Whenever our leadership doesn't follow the same public health policies as it promotes for the public, it undermines public health and it jeopardizes the public's health.
I did reach out to the
guy who
governor's
gives you the
office
warning
this
for
morning.
poltergeist is right. You got to follow. And this lady in the background here, not wearing a mask. Okay? Wear your mask, people. It's really simple. Get yourself an N95. The cloth masks are ridiculous. I've said that since day one. Oh, now all the cloth masks aren't working. You told us to wear masks. And I said, no, I've never told anybody to wear cloth masks. Although it was cute that everybody was like sewing masks at the beginning. Thank you for trying to help humanity. And at the beginning, it actually worked well. But Omicron does not care.
On why the governor's explanation and the videos and pictures do not align. An important note, there are plenty of photos of Newsom with...
There we go. Good reporting. Good job. There it is. This is why we do what we do. Actually, we do what we do because I just woke up early and I can't sleep. But there it is, folks. There's Gavin Newsom at the game at a time where he's not eating and drinking, following the guidelines, wearing the mask.
Wearing his mask too. Newsom has said it several...
I like you, Reiner Report. If that's Reiner on ABC 10, wherever that is, good work. I'm glad I found this. Let me see where this is. Where's ABC 10? KXTV. Channel 10. Spokane. No, where are they? Where? Come on. Tickets to where? Tickets to Sacramento. Okay. KXTV, Sacramento, which is the hometown, the capital of California, for Gavin Newsom. So good job. Wonderful reporting. Let's see if Newsom said Morgan Reiner. Morgan Reiner. I'm just going to get on here. Let's see if I can find that tweet. No, it's all over the place. Here we go. Perspective, 43 seconds. I'm just going to say it. Once you join Twitter, I don't want to have to join Twitter. I'm already in Twitter. Anyway, good job, Morgan. I'll get to that later if I remember. I probably won't. Let's go back to the live shot here. Fox and Friends.
Have ushers making $9.95 an hour walking up and down the stands.
Right, and he was wearing a mask.
Say, excuse me, sir, can you get that over your nose? Delta Air.
You're right, but he was wearing a mask. See, let's go back. There he is. There's Governor Newsom wearing the mask. Okay? Eating and drinking, not wearing the mask. Taking a quick picture, not wearing the mask. All right?
Airline pilot.
Again, I'm not defending Gavin Newsom. He makes mistakes and he's a hypocrite.
Excuse me, do you know the rules? We'll throw you off the plane. But if you are a mayor or a governor making those rules, you can do it. How similar to...
We saw the mayor with a mask in his hand. Took it off for the picture. Still following the CDC guidelines, as ridiculous as they are.
That is Boris Johnson. 16 parties over the last 2 years.
Well, Boris is a completely separate example. And by the way, Boris is on your guys' side, okay? He's right wing.
While he's cracking down and bringing lives and livelihoods to the ground, grinding them into oblivion, at the same time refusing...
Okay, well, no one is grinding lives into oblivion, but okay. I mean, COVID is.
His hair and partying 16 times with bring your own beer parties, while the Queen of England sits there by herself watching her during her husband's funeral to keep her 6 feet distance from all her subjects. This is just so typical of what's going on. 70% of the...
I don't get that connection, but okay. So typical of a royal figure to be sitting by themselves at their husband's funeral. Just oh my God. So blasé.
Country say...
Classic Queen Elizabeth.
It's time to live with this virus and move on. The UK let go of all restriction because of that controversy. Denmark did the same thing. They don't mask their kids at all. It is time for us to do the same.
No, they just got rid of the mandates. A lot of them still mask their kids.
Same exact thing. I wonder if that message is going to get through the White House.
Well, Gavin Newsom wound up not just with a little egg on his face, a whole omelet from the...
I love omelets, but he was wearing a mask on his face. See? There's Governor Newsom with a mask on his face. Okay?
French laundry, of course.
Exactly.
All right, so I guess it was late.
So, again, President Trump made plans to seize the voting machines from the Democratic election in 2020 he lost. But what are we talking about? Mass at a football game from a governor who we have evidence of wearing a mask at the football game. What are we talking about? Jen Psaki with an out-of-context quote where she laughed at the ridiculous headline saying that the Democrats are soft on crime and ignoring the crime problem. That's what we're spending our time talking about. Russia is about to change the geopolitical landscape of the 21st century. And no one really knows what to do about it. Nobody does. Nobody has the answer. And what are we talking about? Well, there was this football game, and a guy didn't wear a mask while he took a picture.
Saturday, when the news broke from ESPN and NFL Network, Tom Brady is hanging up his cleats. And then shortly thereafter, his dad...
Tom Brady is hanging up his cleats. His family doesn't want him to play anymore. The way he's talking, everything that he said is saying that he's going to retire. Now, he may get the itch over the summer. As it's been denied. His dad came out and said he didn't say he was going to retire. He may, in fact, get the itch. He might retire for a year and come back and win another Super Bowl. We don't know. But everything that I've heard Tom Brady talking about indicates that his family is like, Dad, you should be done. It's okay.
Dad starts saying, hey, I'm his dad. He hasn't decided yet. But, you know, to this day, NFL Network and ESPN both say they're standing by the original report. He's going to hang up the cleats, but he will not admit that now because he says he's thinking it through.
Yeah, that's right. So he actually addressed those retirement rumors with Jim Gray.
If you're not going to retire, you just say, hey, I'm not going to retire. If you're thinking about it, you say, I'm thinking about it. And that's fine. They're probably likely Tom Brady doesn't want to overshadow the Super Bowl coming up. So he's trying to tap down the rumors.
A Sirius XM
in Tampa
on his rather Sirius XM podcast yesterday. Listen to Tom Brady here.
You know, it's a good week for me, and I'm just still going through the process that I said I was going through. So sometimes it takes some time to really evaluate how you feel and what you want to do. And I think when the time's right, I'll be ready to make a decision one way or another, just like I said last week.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know, there's some very important games going on.
It's official now, he's retiring? I haven't seen that, but okay. All right.
You know.
Let him do what he and his family want to do. That's fine. Good luck to you.
The weekend, and I know how hard those players work on Sunday to prepare for that. You know, I was actually a little bit, disappointed that would actually, play some part of what's going on in NFL football.
Okay, so that, like I said, he doesn't want to be a distraction from the actual game itself.
I was trying to enjoy a nice weekend. It didn't quite turn that way because my phone got really busy, but, that's just part of being in the situation I'm in.
He tends to do
the world's most perfect human being. Yeah, I can't say I feel sorry for him. The man is everything I am not.
Everything right. And one thing he's trying not to do is overwhelm the Super Bowl. He's not trying to be the story. But
okay, there, I agree with that.
However, the dead week between the Super Bowl, because it's 2 weeks off, and the actual Super Bowl would not be a bad time to say it because there's a lot of people there who will be able to talk about it. Then you'd focus on the game. A couple of things. Jim Gray is going to be with us.
Okay. I don't even know where we are in the broadcast. Here, let me see if anybody interesting comes up here. Wait, are they showing ads for MyPillow again? Yeah. All right. That whole we're not going to show MyPillow ads. All done. There he is. Fox does not make as much money as you think they do. Who's this? Because their audience is average age 76 years old. Probably older now. Let's see what this is going on
with
here.
This disturbing trend, as reported by the FTC, that these scams are...
Yeah, social media scams. Don't be scammed by social media, okay, guys? All right. Mike Pompeo, really not interested. What else is going on here? Mandate. Let's just go to Hannity from last night and see if anybody interesting was on Hannity. More outrage over something Jen Psaki didn't say. What's Peter got to say for himself here? Let's find out. Oh, so there'll be an actual quote from Biden in this segment.
His life, but he's got people who have been reporting back that illegal immigrants are still getting.
Okay, so Brady, according to Stephanie, is officially retired now. Let's just see that. We'll do this. We'll go Brady, and we'll see if there's an official announcement. News. This is older. Tom Brady says he's taking decision day to day. 20 minutes ago, legendary NFL QB announces retirement in social media posts. Announces retirement on Tuesday. And this is breaking news. Okay, so social media accounts. This is difficult for me to write, but here it goes. Here we go. I'll tell you right from the horse's mouth right here. Tom Brady. But this is difficult for me to write, but here it goes. I'm not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I've loved the NFL career. Now it's time to focus my time and energy on other things that require my attention. All right. So he's done. All right. Most successful NFL career in history, many would argue, and many would be right.
In.
One of the fundamental things we got to do, in addition to some of the changes we'll make, we don't get into today, but is that if we figure out why they're leaving in the first place.
Some of the Republican governors who came to see the president yesterday are now saying they want him to talk more about border security than what they got, which is this focus on root causes of migration. The president's talk is about these policies. It's
yeah, God forbid we fix the issue.
Very theoretical, as the reality.
So you've got. Wait.
Remains. People are pouring across the southern border, and some who come and commit violent crimes and murders are not being deported, including the man accused of driving drunk in late 2020 and killing Adrian Sophia Exum in Texas.
Told in the beginning, that he wasn't going to be deported, but I was told that he was. Him not being deported, it's like you telling me my daughter's life didn't mean anything.
Some of the things this president has said about immigration just have not panned out, including his insistence 4 months ago that mounted Border Patrol agents were whipping a group of Haitian migrants, even though most of the evidence available.
Well, Kamala said that.
At the time, suggested that they just had long reins on their horses.
And they were whipping them with the reins.
The president promised quick punishment.
But he fell for the media hoax like everybody else did.
So did the DHS secretary. Now a group of Republican lawmakers is calling for a release of that report that was promised within days 4 months ago. Back to you.
That's right. And there's some suggestion.
Yeah, release it. I have no problem with that.
It may never come out.
Full accountability in government. You know what? Biden should start ripping up papers and just dropping them on the floor.
Peter, we saw the president with the governors at the NGA yesterday in the East Room. I know that the vice president spoke. Did she address what she found on her trip last week to Honduras?
No, she did not. And immigration is just part of her portfolio. So is voting rights. She took an opportunity in front of the nation's governors in the White House to mention voting rights legislation, but she did not mention anything about the root causes or what she has found since last.
All right, well, now I'm getting bored with this. We'll watch Hannity later. It's now past 7 o'clock, so I do have to get my day going here. So I'm going to try and broadcast as much as I can. Well, not as much as I can, because I could sit here all day, but I got other stuff to do. So more moving today. We will check in later. If something big happens, I might be able to jump on, depending on whether I'm here or at the news studios. We'll figure it out. Guys, thanks for watching, all 3 of you. I don't even know. I've got no footprint anymore. 8 of you. 8 of you are watching, so woohoo! That's just on YouTube. There's probably other people watching other places. And then there's those of you watching on the replay. It's been a pleasure, guys. Remember, if you run into Gavin Newsom, tell him to keep his mask on. Be good to yourself, be good to others, and most importantly, be good to sharks.